Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a todos. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Welcome to a community dedicated to providing spiritual tools for living a happy and full life. My name is Karina Shear, and I am the spiritual director and founding minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta. If you would like to become a member of our center, please connect with me for more information. Today is Saturday, May 15th, 2021, and we're continuing our annual theme, which is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. The topic for this month is Holy, Holy Uprising, and the topic for this week is This Too Is God. The two books that are suggested for reading this month are A New Design for Living by Ernest Holmes and See No Stranger, a memoir and manifesto of revolutionary love by Valerie Carr. We open each week with a spiritual mind practice called affirmative prayer, also known as spiritual mind treatment. And this is a powerful tool and a practical tool that shifts our consciousness so that we are open and available to accept the good that is already present in our life. It aligns our thoughts with all good. So let's move into today's service with intention, as we do each week, with a reading from the Creative Thought magazine. And today I'll be reading from May 15th, 2014. Spiritual mind treatment is always done in the first person. So I invite you to close your eyes and take these words as your own, if you so choose. Wisdom dissolves ignorance. God, good, is the original cause of me. This cause created a perfect being when it created me. With wondrous clarity, this great truth is emerging into my consciousness, demanding recognition. All my doubts, fears, frustrations, inhibitions, and limitations have been acquired by me. They have been foisted upon by me. In my ignorance, I created them. They are something I have added. They are falsehoods I have learned. I have taught myself untruths. I now engage myself in unlearning falsehoods. This is easy. Only good is true. So I easily separate and discard the false from my consciousness, knowing that nothingness of evil, I can never again be frightened or fooled by it. Knowledge that anything is untrue dissolves my belief in it. I rejoice that my ignorant beliefs have been shown for what they really are. I quickly unshackle myself from them. I am free. Gratitude. Great is my gratitude. Inexpressible my joy. I set forth into a path of endless expansion and limitless attainment. And that was reprinted from the May 1958 edition of the Science and Mind magazine, submitted by Madeline Wilms. So now, as we do each week, let's review our purpose, vision, and mission statements together. Our purpose is to awaken and celebrate diversity and to love and serve our community. And this is done through our vision, which is to educate and support each other so we can create the life we desire that works for us right now. And this is supported by our mission, which is to provide spiritual tools for personal growth and transformation. And at this time, I'd like to also welcome everyone again. Those that are new to our teaching and to our center here in Puerto Vallarta, Whether you are here on Zoom Live or watching the replay at a later time, please know that everyone is welcome here, and we value each and every one of you. We are a philosophy and a center that follows all faiths and all traditions. So no matter what path you are on or have been on, know that you are welcome here. And know that you are safe here. We are welcoming each and every one of you, no matter what. We teach a philosophy, as I mentioned, called the Science of Mind. It's a teaching based on new thought and ancient wisdom. And we offer spiritual tools and principles to promote personal growth. We've already experienced one of these this morning with our opening spiritual mind treatment. And we honor diversity in all aspects, as I've mentioned, so that we can see and appreciate the great oneness that already exists everywhere and within everyone. When Dr. Ernest Holmes founded this teaching in the 1920s, he had studied both Eastern and Western spiritual texts in order to create the Science of Mind, which focuses on the individual use of thoughts and this powerful thing called the mind. When asked to provide a concise definition of the Science of Mind teaching, he replied that it is a correlation of laws of science, opinions of philosophy, and revelations of religion applied to human needs and aspirations. That pretty much covers everything, doesn't it? Each week, we offer a service with an inspirational message. And normally this is done in a downtown restaurant, a restaurant in downtown Puerto Vallarta, or at least it has been in the past. But since we are still required to wear masks while we are outside the home, I welcome you into my home via Zoom. Mi casa es su casa. We look forward to once again having discussions afterwards and enjoying some home-style Mexican cooking. And hopefully that will be soon. Again, another reminder that we are still in the process of looking for a new location. So updated information on that will be on our website and on our Facebook page, as well as being mentioned here a week or two prior to us meeting in person. So if you have any questions or comments, you can post them where it is that you are watching, or send me a direct message via email, and I'll be sure to respond. Our evolutionary vision from the Science of Mind Global Vision for this week is this. We envision a world where personal responsibility joins the social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness. And our timeless wisdom from the Science of Mind principles, core concepts, and values for this week is oneness. There is one infinite reality. We call it many names, including, but not limited to God, life, universal spirit, infinite intelligence, first cause, or the thing itself. The one infinite reality is undivided, complete, and whole within itself. This oneness creates everything out of itself, and therefore includes both the absolute and relative, tangible and intangible, physical and metaphysical aspects of reality. As a leading edge spiritual organization, not the best kept secret, we are poised with a teaching and tools to help humanity into a new paradigm of consciousness. We are invited to demonstrate this in our lives, in our centers, our communities, and in the greater world. To do so, we must rise up in consciousness, each and every one of us. Nowadays, we need to be so careful what we say, either in person or in print, such as in social media. So many taboo topics, many of us will not touch, but each of these must also be God, right? No matter what the political affiliation, sociological or cultural experiences, religious or spiritual paths, they're all God, right? What could shift if we embraced and communicated courageously, openly, and vulnerably about these things that many of us avoid? In today's message, I would like to open with this quote from Dr. Ernest Holmes from the Science of Mind textbook. This is what he said. Our belief sets the limit to our demonstration of a principle which, of itself, is without limit. It is ready to fill everything because it is infinite. It is entirely a question of our own receptivity. The science of mind teaches that our true nature is divine and our intelligence is universal mind, which functions at the level of our concept of it and how open-minded we are. We are made of pure spirit, and each of us has within our own nature the seed of perfection. However, in our ignorance of true nature and with our misuse of the law, we often bring about suffering. Why do we do this to ourselves when we know better? As spiritual individuals, we strive to heal suffering by remembering our true nature. We allow spirit to work for us by working through us. We recognize this power, conceive of a greater good, and remove all unbelief, just like was mentioned in this morning's opening treatment. David R. Hawkins said this: in this interconnected universe, every improvement we make in our private world improves the world at large for everyone. Simple kindness to oneself and all that lives is the most powerful transformational force of all. And that was from his book, Power versus Force. So let's look at our 3 key points for today. Number 1, place no limits on God. Number 2, face the fear. And number 3, your higher consciousness benefits the world. So in placing no limits on God, we manifest the infinite to the degree that we are in alignment with it. If we have just a little good, then we must get a bigger bucket to hold the infinite good. And all that is available to each and every one of us. Spiritual mind treatment, prayer, affirmations, meditation, visualization, and daily gratitude. These spiritual practices expand our consciousness so that we can bring more light into our lives and therefore into the world through each and every one of us. As we begin to see ourselves from the truth of our being, we experience an inner life that is bigger and more real than our external circumstances, the form. Therefore, our external circumstances or form must change to accommodate our new mental equivalent, what we think we are. Ernest Holmes said that while it is true that wrong conditions exist, they could not remain unless there were someone there to experience them. Consequently, the experience must be in consciousness, right? Change the consciousness and the false condition will disappear, just like was mentioned in the opening treatment. Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith says this: in God awareness, problems dissolve because there are no real problems. In the mind of God, there are only perfect patterns of existence and divine ideas. And that's from his book, Spiritual Liberations. So we must face the fear. Do not be confused over appearances of form. Instead of avoiding conversations that are uncomfortable because of fear that we might offend somebody, many of us participate in what is known as spiritual bypass. We might say things like, all is well, but we haven't done the work. Or we might say, I don't see color. Or let's not get political. When in truth, failing to address obvious social issues causes alienation within our community. We've discussed these topics this year or in this past year many times. So instead of creating alienation, we must know that our use of the universal law can change any form that is not harmonious. We must name the condition and then know the truth, investing more energy into the truth about it than in its appearance. So watching the news then becomes an active prayer session. If you would like to have more conversations about these social issues, then please connect with me afterwards and we'll have a one-on-one discussion. In the Science of Mind teaching, Ernest Holmes says that spirit is the Father, Mother, God, because it is the principle of unity, back of all things. The masculine and feminine principles both come from the one. Spirit is all life, truth, love, being, cause and effect, is the only power of the universe that knows itself. The spirit could not know anything outside of itself. That would be God and something else. Spirit is all there is, the center and the circumference of everything that exists, both manifest and unmanifest. The beauty of life is that while we cannot undo what is done in the past, we can see it for what it is, understand it, learn from it, and change, so that every new moment is spent not in regret, fear, guilt, or anger, but rather in wisdom, understanding, and in love. Harriet Emily Caddy, who was an American physician and author of New Thought Spiritual Writings, says this: even in the heartbreaking circumstances of your life, evils will turn to joy before your very eyes if you will steadfastly refuse to see anything but God. This too is God. Which leads us to our third and final point. Your higher consciousness benefits the world. According to David R. Hawkins, who calibrated human consciousness from its lowest vibration, which is shame, to its highest, which is enlightenment, found that higher consciousness radiates a beneficial and healing effect on the entire world. Using kinesthetic testing, Hawkins created a chart to explain in detail what the mystics have already known and have always known. Love is more powerful than hatred, and the truth sets us free. As an example, one individual who had raised her consciousness calibration to 500, which is love, counterbalanced 750,000 individuals who calibrated below 200, which is the lowest possible calibration. Increase your integrity, your understanding, and capacity for compassion, and help to change the world. We can each do that. If we hold a grudge, we bar ourselves from the highest expression of our divine nature. God never hates, nor does God hold feelings of bitterness towards anyone. Thus, the grudge holder is trying to express God and something else, which is impossible because spirit is not cut up into little tiny sections. No one can say, I will accept God's healing, but on the other hand, not express God's love. Since spirit is indivisible, the person who refrains from expressing God's love will be unable to accept God's good health, good life, all the goods. It can't be both ways, for God is only one, spirit is only one, there is only one. Therefore, we should express love, for love is the fulfilling of the law. Saint Francis of Assisi said this about love and God. It was easy to love God in all that was beautiful. The lessons of deeper knowledge, though, instructed me to embrace God in all things. This, too, is God. So in closing, we dwell in the oneness of God, even when appearances suggest an absence of the divine. In our spiritual communities, we cannot merely gloss over the genuine issues in the world and hide between platitudes until the storm passes. In times of social unrest, our community has the opportunity to apply the teachings of Dr. Ernest Holmes and other spiritual teachers to find what is ours to do. Using the principle of oneness, we allow these uncomfortable topics to help us to deepen our spiritual practices, grow our compassion, and then take divinely inspired action in the world so that we can make this a world that truly works for everyone. And I'll leave you with this quote from Marianne Williamson. The spiritual journey is the relinquishment or unlearning of fear and the acceptance of love back into our hearts. Love is the essential, existential fact. It is our ultimate reality and our purpose on earth. To be consciously aware of it, to experience love in ourselves and others, is the meaning of life. And here is today's affirmation. I have no big problems. I tell my problems about my big God. And so now is our time of mindful giving and financial support of our spiritual home. Here at the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta, we rely on your support so that we can continue offering this powerful teaching of the science of mind. And we bless the financial gifts that you give today. Every donation is greatly appreciated. Donations can be made through our website, and I'll put that up for you. So if you go to www.cslpv.org, you'll land on our landing page. And there you'll see a Donate Now button. Donations will be greatly received through PayPal, and the PayPal button will direct you to whichever form of payment you prefer. If you would like to send a check in the mail instead, you can address it to CSLPV, number 403, 2125 Birch Road, Kelowna, BC, V1Y8N1. So if you would like to join me in saying our offertory affirmations, let's do that together. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I do give eternal thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. So thank you for coming and spending this time together. If you would like one-on-one connection for a spiritual mind treatment to assist you with change, please connect with me. If you would like to commit to becoming a member of the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta for this current year, or if you would like to become a member of our Board of Trustees, please contact us so that we can send you the current form. Let's continue with practicing peace. We can each be a force for peace and nonviolence. Our words and our actions can create ripples of peace around us and beyond. May peace and love be with you. Thank you again for spending this time. Peace and blessings to all. Namaste.